Moving right along, let's go to the next lump of crap sitting on the drain, couldn't flush down out of the commode. I'm talking about this wannabe porn star, Kristi Noem. How about this woman? Jesus Christ. Before I get into what she has done, the latest bunch of bullshit, you're familiar with the word cosplay, right? Cosplay, it's a combination of the word costume and the word play. And if you're involved in costume play or cosplay, you're involved in an activity in kind of performance art where the people who participate in the stuff are called cosplayers. They wear costumes and fashion accessories to represent a certain character, right? Well, the term cosplay now has been adopted as slang, sometimes in politics, to mean somebody pretending to play a role or take on a personality disingenuously. May I welcome to the Malloy podcast right now this crazy bitch Kristi Noem. What the fuck is with this woman? This is the head of Department of Homeland Security. And when she's not cosplaying, she's I don't know. What the fuck does she do? Well, the latest. Kristi Noem went on a tour of the terrorist confinement center in Teoluca, El Salvador. The other day, she dressed up, put on her fucking $60,000 watch, and dressed up in a pair of, I swear to God, please don't misunderstand what I'm about to tell you. I'm not trying to be particularly vulgar. But she put on a pair of paratroop pants or painter's pants, whatever you want to call them, loose fitting. And the front of it, if you look at the photographs of her as she is parading in front of a cage full of half-naked men, if you look at the photograph of her, the front of her paratrooper pants at her crotch looks exactly like the depiction of a vagina. I am not bullshitting you. Take a look at the picture. Now, was that accidental? Or was this Kristi Noem's way of saying to the hundreds of men behind her, half naked, tattooed up, staring out with a look of utter contempt on their faces, was this Kristi Noem's way of saying, haha, fuck you, you'll never get any of this? Jesus Christ. Now, if you remember, Wednesday this week, a federal appeals court upheld a block on the toilet rat's plans to deport immigrants under a centuries-old wartime law, you know, the Enemies Alien Act, or Enemy Alien Act, whatever the fuck it is. That is what the toilet rat invoked to send planes full of Venezuelan migrants to a hellhole in El Salvador. This prison in El Salvador, from what I can gather, is not too unlike what the Christians used to put people they didn't like into during the various inquisitions after they tortured them. But just a few hours after that order came down from the appeals court, there she was, DHS, Department of Homeland Security head, Kristi Noem, the porn star wannabe. She posted a video from inside that prison. And the voiceover of this bitch talking, she's promising to send even more migrants there in the future. She stands there with her vagina-looking parachute pants on and her very, very expensive watch, saying, quote, if you come to our country illegally, this is one of the consequences you could face. This facility is one of the tools in our toolkit that we will use if you commit crimes against the American people, end quote. Well, okay. All right. I mean, anybody who believes in respect for law, which Kristi Noem does not, she works for a fucking outlaw administration, but anyone who believes in the rule of law could agree with the idea. Yeah, if somebody's charged with a crime in the United States, provide them due process. If they are found guilty, whatever the fucking penalty is prescribed, do it. But these people behind Kristi Noem in this fucking sick video, these half-naked men, they weren't afforded due process. Now, this bitch has got involved in a lot of photo ops since she became head of the Department of Homeland Security. She likes to wear a cowboy hat and get up on a horse and ride with ICE agents, and then she likes to put on a leather jacket and the flight jacket on a Coast Guard aircraft. And she's gotten the nickname among the people in Washington who have to work with this bitch. She's gotten the name Cosplay Kristi. Yeah. But even in the light of this kind of shit, her trip to this terrorism confinement center represents a doubling down by this rat-infested administration, which right now is locked in a legal battle over its decision to let planes full of Venezuelan migrants go to El Salvador, despite a court order demanding that the fucking planes turn around. But of course, Kristi Noem, this psychotic bitch, this porn star wannabe, she don't give a shit about that. She's got to go play her games. She's got to dress up. I'm going to dress up. I am going to dress up. Jesus Christ. So the planes that were ordered to return did not return, and the Toilet Rats administration has since justified letting those flights continue by insisting that it wasn't bound by the judge's remarks because he said them. He didn't write them. And the judge has since made it clear a judicial order is a judicial order. Now, these fuckers who work for the Toilet Rat, they know that. They know that. In the midst of all this, the porn star wannabe, Kristi Noem, have you ever noticed when you see pictures of her, she usually has her puffed up lips, which obviously were mechanically enhanced, you might say, but she has her lips kind of half open with that little, hey there, big boy, come here, I'll have something for you. Jesus Christ! But her visit to this prison, Vanity Fair calls it a brazen provocation. And in the video, the bitch thanks the dictators of El Salvador for allowing the U.S., quote, to bring our terrorists here, end quote. Now, some of the families of the men who were rounded up like so many swine in a goddamn hog farm and sent off, the families of some of these men have increasingly stepped forward to deny that their relatives, brothers, son, father, uncle, whoever it is, have absolutely nothing to do with the Tren de Aragua gang that all these people are supposed to be members of. Some of the detained men and their families say that they were deported based solely on the fact that they wear tattoos. That's according to Mother Jones. Fuck, I have a tattoo. Don't you? Oh, my God. So, the judge in all this has yet to rule on Boasberg, the one who is under direct assault, death threats, going to burn your house down, going to destroy your family, going to kill your pets. You know, this kind of shit that these MAGA fuckwads just love doing, these cowardly little pieces of human waste. Oh, as soon as Trump mentions a target, these folks pour their asses out of bed, put down their Pabst Blue Ribbon, and jump out. Hey, goddamn right! Anyway, the judge has yet to rule on the underlying legality or merits of the case, whether the Trump administration was justified in invoking the Alien Enemies Act. But during the appeals court hearing, I'm sure you heard about this, about the temporary ban earlier this week. One of the judges in the appellate court, female judge, I didn't see any video. I don't think they're allowed, but I heard the audio. She made her view of the administration's actions clear when she said, quote, Nazis got better treatment under the Alien Enemies Act, end quote, which they did in this country. We're talking about presumed Nazis, German sympathizers who were rounded up. This is not often talked about, but there were Italian Americans and German Americans and Italian nationals and German nationals who were in this country who were rounded up and put in detention camps, not to the extent of Japanese Americans, But it still happened with German Americans and Italian Americans to some extent. But that's a different story. So in light of all this shit with this bitch, this cosplaying porn star wannabe, she with the little puffy lips, what the fuck is it, Kristi Noem doing in her job? You know, jumping on airplanes and trying to entice men, whether they're locked up in a goddamn prison in El Salvador or in the cockpit of a Coast Guard plane. I mean, Jesus, bleeding Christ. Well, in light of that, I got a text. I'm sorry, I got an email from one of my listeners on the West Coast who I think I'll just leave nameless, but this is what she wrote regarding Kristi Noem. This person wrote, quote, "I loathe her as much as I do Trump. What a hideously cruel thing she is. Oh, yeah, and by the way, she's a counselor at a children's Christian camp. Another Christian uber plastic surgery, fake hair, fake boobs, fake everything, Barbie for Jesus with multi-$1,000 jewelry. Think how much good that $60,000 watch on her wrist could do for hungry kids." Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. You know, the Progressive Voices Network brings you commercial-free commentary from today's leading progressive radio hosts and pundits, like me, Mike Malloy, 24 hours a day. I'm not your typical old guy from the 80s or the 90s talk radio host, and Progressive Voices is not your typical talk radio network. It's a listener-supported nonprofit with no corporate control whatsoever over our broadcast. So hosts like me, Mike Malloy, are free to rant and scream and carry on about whatever we like. We're often controversial, but we're never boring. Weeknights, 9 p.m. in the East, 6 p.m. in the West on the Progressive Voices Network. Always progressive, always on. I'm Mike Malloy. Keep it lit.